Praveena Desu is a mother, a coach, and a corporate leader. She's dedicated to helping students find their inner drive and true selves. Her passion is clear in her coaching for Destination Imagination, Robotics, and mentoring the teenage founders of careerstoconsider.org. Over the past year, they built a platform to educate teens about various careers. Her work focuses on helping young people build confidence and be self-driven. Professionally, Praveena leads a Google team that helps companies use Google Workspace tools successfully. She recently finished the Stanford Lead Executive Education Program. This further strengthened her leadership skills in all aspects of her life.
Hey guys, welcome back to Careers to Consider. You might have noticed that today's setup is a little bit different.
That's because for our 1-year anniversary, we are hosting a very special interview.
Please welcome Praveena Desu, or as we like to call her, Praveena Auntie, the mentor of Careers to Consider.
We hope you enjoy this interview and make sure to check out our channel and subscribe.
Could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hey everybody, I'm Praveena Desu. Well, there's a lot to introduce. I'm just going to say I am a mother of 2 kids. For my day job, I work at Google as the head of technical solutions engineering for Americas. And I love yoga and meditation. That's what keeps me sane. And on the weekends, I work a lot with kids. I coach Destination Imagination teams. Robotics is a team that I'd coached. And right now, I am actively working as the mentor for Careers to Consider.
Could you reflect on your journey of how you became our mentor?
Well, that's going to be a long one, but I'll try to make it short. Last summer, I was actually pursuing my Stanford lead program. And during that time, I decided that, I'd always wanted to do this summer club for my kids and their friends together. And I just wanted to explore and, talk to them and give them exposure to topics that they don't typically get to, hear during the school year. So I said, okay, let's just say, okay, whoever's around and in town, we just brought them together. And we said every week we're going to focus on something, right? And so I created kind of a plan, and I enlisted other parents' help as well. So we started off with the neuroscience thing. So what I did is, and complete credit to Professor Baba Shiv, I took his course content, and he encourages us to share it with anybody and everybody. So I actually spent, I think it was about 6 to 7 hours with this group of rising eighth graders going over the content, and they really, really, enjoyed the content. So that was one week. Then we did, another parent did a coding week, another parent did an art week, and then the thing after that that really took that summer club to the next level was a life-size escape room. Do you remember that?
Yes, we do.
Right?
Yeah, my brain was so totally stuck afterwards, but
Definitely.
it felt good to.
Yeah, I know the, sorry to cut you off, but the escape room, it took up half the house. And it just took, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And these rising sixth graders at that time, they came and solved it. It was just amazing, right, to see that actually come to fruition and reality. And then after that, I realized that you all started kind of sharing your fears, concerns, right, about high school, about what you want to do. And then my question was, do you even know what's out there? Like, how many careers do you know? Everybody's parents in this room, of the kids in this room, are part of IT. They're all, and then so what else do you know? Doctors, lawyers. Now I said, let's actually first just go find other folks in other careers, and we can learn about what these careers look like. So we started conversations. I tapped into my Stanford network, and huge shout out to all the folks who really helped us find folks in other careers. A very interesting, very initial interview we did was a marine biologist, And I'm like, where can we even talk to a marine biologist, right? And it so happened that one of the interviews, one of the kids couldn't make it. So we said, hey, is it okay if we record it? And from that started this idea of, you want to share how it started, right?
Yes, absolutely. It was actually Sia's idea for the name, and all the whole entire concept was just all of our ideas, and it was just
All of these interviews brought together, and we were just so excited to share the knowledge that we had learned, and it was great.
Yeah, so we ended up recording it for one of the kids who couldn't make it, and we were like, all right, let's go publish it to everybody else out there, not just us, but other kids like us who really don't know what's out there.
it was just an eye-opening experience.
And it was really started as something simple. It was like, oh, it's just a YouTube channel. We just put these videos out there. But then we realized it was like it comes with so much like who is this person? We heard what the person was. We saw their bio. We saw what they looked like, but the the people watching the video didn't. And then there was like after we discussed our takeaways and what we learned from the interview, and we wanted to share that with people. So then we realized there was so much work, and we just started dedicating hours and hours a week during the summer to this, and it just became a whole big thing.
Yeah, and because it became such a big thing, it was very, I'm sure overwhelming to say the least, right? For you all to handle everything that goes into it. So then came in my role because I started the summer club, then I continued the responsibilities forward and I said, all right, let's do this as a structured, working session. Now it's a full blown production company, I guess. And that's how when I look back, I can't believe it's been a whole year of this amazing production work and all the great stuff that you've learned. I want to also hear from you all what you've learned in this 1 year.
We'll definitely share what we learned later. But on that note, what skills do you need to be a mentor?
All right, so we said my title is mentor. I mentor you all, right? That's like coaching. And basics of coaching that I use, one of the coaches I love and admire is Brené Brown. And I've heard her talk quite a bit about this. So I've created my own framework. Tara Moore is another coach I just love. What I've realized is you need to be able to understand the coachee's perspective. And the other thing is never answer a question when a coachee asks you. I think my kids know this very well. They ask a question and I never answer. Well, you too, right? You ask a question and I'm always asking you back. I'm never answering one, right?
Right, but I feel like that gives us the opportunity to think through, like, okay, what might we have done wrong? How might people be looking at this, and like how we could fix it or make it better. So I really like that idea. I think that's a great strategy.
It's definitely making us like think like, oh, I can fix this problem myself and not depending on adults and just going straight to them.
Right. And I mean, so then the question would be, then what's the value of a coach?
To help us unlock our full potential, because I mean that's what I think, and I feel like that's what you've done for a lot of us. And I think it's mainly because you help us realize that our brain can think in different ways and that we can work in different ways, and we've only unlocked like half of our potential. With careers to consider too, like there's so much more we can do, and to guide us through that is definitely what you've been doing.
Guiding is the keyword, right? So, if our audience is thinking, well, if they're doing all the thinking, then what am I here for? It's that that when there's something, I will be there to say, pause, let's think, let's take a step back, right? Or I guide you through questions, not through answers.
Right.
Definitely. And I feel like the supportive element of a coach is what really makes a great coach, one like yourself. I feel like that when you get stuff wrong, it's easy to feel frustrated and, just a little tired of doing the things that you've been doing, especially when you're in these 2-3 hour working sessions. And I just feel like Praveena does such a good job of being like, okay, let's calm down and think through this. What might we have done wrong? And does it need to be fixed, first of all? And how can it be fixed?
Yeah, also mistakes, right? Talking about mistakes, we always think about there are no mistakes, there are only lessons, right? There are always something for us to learn from. I mean, what has happened has happened. You can't change that. So you need to pause and actually, unleash the power of regret, is how I look at it, because regret is a good thing. Regret is something that only the human species feels. The animals don't have regret. They just go about doing the thing. They don't think, they don't reflect, they can't introspect or retrospect.
Something I noticed, like watching from the sidelines too, was that even though we're talking about how your mentorship works and all that, you still found a way to make it a mentoring moment with our interview, always like teaching us about these different moments. So you're always teaching us, but there's definitely some moments where we maybe aren't getting what you're trying to tell us, or like where we don't quite get the message. So are there any moments that you sometimes wonder or like have to like push yourself to keep going, or were there any struggles that came with trying to mentor all these different teams?
What do you mean struggles? We're a big happy family. Well, jokes apart, you know, you all know that there are going to be struggles in any journey, right?
Yeah.
And again, as Sastra reminded me recently, it's about the journey and not the destination only, right? It's not that she came up with it. It's something that we've said all the time. And, I'm reminded of it too. But that's what I keep thinking is when we hit blockers, right? And like you said, I'm trying to say something, but the point doesn't land. There's no point in harping about it at that point. So I just take a note of it and I'm like, okay, that's not going to land now. And then the next thing I have to think about is a few things. Number one, are you all in that state to actually take such a deep analysis? Maybe not. Maybe you have to put a pin on it and come back to it later. The other thing I think about is, wait, sometimes I get so deep into things, I'm like, I have to abstract myself. Like, what was the purpose of this conversation? What's the point we're trying to get to? Right? Always trying to clear that noise out of my head and figuring out, okay, what is that one thing that is really important right now? What's the goal of this thing? Then it tells me, all right, there's a different path to get there. So I think that's the thing is, especially in coaching, when I hit those moments, like, I'm usually working with teams of 5 or 6, either tweens or teenagers. Every one of them has something or the other going on. So giving myself grace and giving the others grace to be human is very necessary. You cannot expect everybody to be perfect all the time, to be at their best behavior all the time. And yeah, each of us will lose it at some point and will say something. But then we know that, hey, you know what? It's okay. Let's calm down. No hard feelings. But that's the other thing is when you are working as a coach, the first thing is to establish that trust and that foundation. Because then it does not matter how heated an argument gets to. It is actually, when you have heated arguments, it means that it's healthy. Because everybody in that room, everybody at that table feels comfortable sharing contradictory opinions. If not, if everybody is just going to say yes, then there is no creativity in that aspect, right? In that moment, in that discussion.
Going off of that, when there is a situation when things are getting hard and maybe you're getting frustrated that it's not going the way you had planned when you were planning to mentor the team, what are like some strategies you use to like keep pushing yourself to do this week after week?
Okay, so just to clarify, I get your question. You're saying, how do I keep myself going with everything that's going on, right? So my entire Sunday is dedicated to coaching. We do our careers to consider working session in the morning. We say 2 hours, but we all know it always takes longer. And then I take a break and then I do my destination imagination coaching. And that's, longer, younger kids. So I actually have to do a meditation practice in between to recoup my energy and then get ready, right? But then how do I go on week over week with this? this Sundays are the most rewarding part of my week. It is tiring. It is tiring in the sense of not just physically tiring, but it's like the energy that it needs to keep this going. Because I want to be present with my best self in these sessions, right? So my energy levels always have to be at a certain level, which is why I have to do meditative practices in between the sessions. But really, when I see you all learn something or get something that just clicks in your brain, I mean, that's just like, okay, you know what? That's awesome. And which means that you also want to do this week over week, right? And that's what keeps me going. And I tell myself, I've always been someone that what's the thing? I think that takes pleasure in helping others, and especially when it's kids, it means that I'm really giving forward to multiple generations, because it's not just with you, right? You're going to go give forward whenever you are able to. So it's just so rewarding that I make it a point that this is my P0 priority. Like, any weekend travel is always planned around my coaching on Sundays. If I have to travel on the weekend, then we say, all right, Friday evening we leave, Sunday evening we come back, right? There was probably one session I missed last school year. So it's just that making it a priority and then making sure that I'm prepared for it. Now, the other thing I will say is I have to be very aware of making sure that this saying that says you cannot pour from an empty cup. I have to make sure that I am able to give, then I can't be empty. So there were some things that I did not do well last school year, and because of that, this time I said, hey, you know what, I realized I was just stretching myself too thin and I'm not really able to focus too well. So I told you all this time, Saturdays, I'm not doing anything, right? So, kind of being aware of, if you want to make something a priority, and being aware of the energy needs and how you have to be prepared for it, but also giving yourself a break and making sure that you are prioritizing that as well is what's needed.
Yeah, I think that goes for like anything we do. Like we always want to give ourselves a break, or else we're gonna get burnt out.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you mentioned meditation and yoga a lot. So do you have any tips for anyone else who might find themselves sort of stretched too thin, and ways to sort of keep them going or get themselves organized?
I think everybody has their own way of dealing with it, and you have to be aware of it. See, meditation for me is sitting in a quiet practice. But I say, really, if you think about what is meditation, is to give yourself that break, help your brain clear out the noise in your brain, and then so that you feel energetic enough. The one thing I will tell you is, physiologically, it has been proven that breath exercises, breath work, is very helpful. You have to make sure that you're doing different breath exercises depending on what you want to activate. You always want to make sure your parasympathetic nervous system is doing its job of calming you down and re-energizing you, right? For some it is running, for some it's biking, for some it's singing, for some it's dancing. So you have to find what fills your cup, and that is meditation.
So I know you talked about how yoga and meditation and taking your Saturdays off to relax really helped you like recharge. But another thing that helps you like feel good in general for anyone is rewarding moments. So I was wondering if you had any of those that you would like to share with us.
For sure, many of them, but I will tell you, in terms of careers to consider, a few moments that I can never forget. The launch party, when we launched our first YouTube video interview. Who was that with? Was it the marine biologist, right?
Yeah, it was Sibatter's interview, I think. Go check that out, guys. It's actually really interesting.
And that day to me is still like etched in my memory. And you all made this video that like really just cheered me up. And then the next thing was, oh my gosh, when we did the whole publishing, we said, hey, let's come up with a schedule, right? Of publishing all the season one interviews. I don't know if you remember what it took to stay on top of it.
Oh my god, that was so crazy. It took us so long to finally get into a routine. But once we did, it was amazing how fast we were able to get it out.
Yeah, we were like one of those supply chains.
Supply chains, yes. And knowing that all season 1 interviews were published on time based on our plan, that was amazing. I think another rewarding moment for me in my journey as a mentor for careers to consider is we did what we called it the CEO rotation, right? And then when I spoke with each of you, I said, I'm going to interview you about your CEO rotation.
Oh, yes.
And what I heard from each of you was just very heartwarming to know that you learned something from it and to get your perspective of what it meant to do that. And I still, I shared my summary of, hey, this is what was right. That writing that document based on what I heard from you was really very, very, because I could tell that I've seen you grow as a leader. I've seen you grow as a team member, as a nonprofit founder, and take that responsibility seriously.
I know it has been amazing working in this team. It is so great to work with all of you guys, and it was such a learning experience. I cannot believe it has already been 1 year. Also,
Yay, 1 year.
shout out to Dimple for organizing this 1 year thing. This could not have happened without her.
That's true. That's true.
Wow. Thank you guys. I did actually have a couple questions. Okay, so one of the biggest things, especially with this 1 year project and all the special projects that we do, is sometimes I get so caught up in the tasks and the schedule and putting things out on time that I lose sight of the bigger picture and how our audience might interpret it or how we want people to see this and what we're putting out. So, and you've always just been kind of like the ground underneath this. Yeah, I don't I don't really know the words, but you kind of kept us like rooted and been like make sure we don't get lost in the plans. So I'm just asking, like, how do you do all that in your head for yourself?
That's a great question because I'll tell you what. Everybody's susceptible to this without practice, and the practice I'm talking about is being aware that you're caught in the weeds and you're struggling, and saying, "Hey, I need to pause and kind of extract." And remember what I said earlier, where I said you have to know to remove the noise and really figure out what is that one thing that you're
Definitely. That in itself is a huge skill that you need to learn to be successful in
Yeah.
general.
exactly for you. And again, successful is a word I always say use with caution because it should mean something different to each of us. But you know what? All the hype around us, the social media, the news, everything, it just painted this picture that success means this. And this is how it should be for everyone. I want everybody to think about this. And this is again, like Sia said earlier, I take every moment and say I make everything a mentoring moment. But it's one of those where you have to know what success means for you. And another thing that I love saying all the time is happiness is a choice. I know Sarastra can attest to that. I always keep reminding myself and folks around me, happiness is a choice. So it's in your hands.
Absolutely. And sometimes, in the morning when I'm getting up for school and
You can't be happy.
I don't really want to go. Um I think that today won't be as bad. And I
What is it? Is it every day is a new day?
no I don't think anyone on your team said that, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, and whenever I'm just like getting down and be like, oh my gosh, today's gonna suck. I try to imagine what my perfect day would look like, and I just try to think like, hey, maybe today's the day, And, just even though it's probably not going to be the perfect day, just that little thing in my head keeps me going. And whenever good stuff happens, I'll be like, oh, that's my little perfect day moment.
Yeah.
In each and every day.
You know what, you guys? You send this video to your teachers. They can take a
I think that's all our questions for today. Thank you for answering. Do you have any closing notes or advice for anybody that wants to take up mentoring?
Anybody that wants to mentor, this is definitely a huge undertaking. So you need to be aware of that. You have to really be passionate about working with kids. Because a question that I often get is, you don't have enough working with your 2 own kids, you want 10 other kids in your house. So you really have to be passionate about that, and you have to be able to take that coaching mindset. You cannot give the answers. You have, yeah, your answer should be questions back. And I say there are many resources out there that actually help you understand what it takes to take a coaching mindset. So really, if anybody wants to do this, it is not far-fetched at all. You can learn, you're gonna do a few things that you may not want to repeat, and you just take note of that and keep going. But please, if you are considering doing something like this, you will pay forward to multiple generations.
Takeaways. As a mentor, try and see the problem from your pupil's perspective. Don't just give students the answer, help them figure it out themselves. You can't change the past, so use regrets as learning opportunities. It's okay for both of you to mess up, so give yourselves grace and the chance to learn. Make sure to take care of yourself first so that you have enough energy to help others. Success looks different for everybody. Your mood is a choice you make every day.